I was embarking on a new adventure, seeking new thrills, perspectives and challenges. A trip that would test me physically and mentally, almost giving up at times. The journey would see me cross 4 islands in the Hebrides, South and North Uist, Isle of Harris and even the Isle of Skye, then back to where I started at Mallaig. I would be crossing the ocean on 4 ferries and cycling 121 miles on a dodgy push bike with all my gear. At one point, I wild camp in front of a pristine, sunlit ocean. At another, I seek the welcome refuge offered to me by the islanders, and I also stay in one of the most unique and beautiful hostels I have ever stayed in. The series starts as I set sail for Loch Boysdale in South Uist, a place I have little or no conception about, but I come to love the Outer Hebrides, its friendly people, stunning landscapes, and its rich history which defines its culture. Welcome to Cycling the Hebrides, to lands beyond.
As we heading north, just left the camp at Clad Hallen, so let's see where's next, yeah?
Before reaching the top of the Isle of South Uist, a statue caught my eye as it stood prominently gazing upon the lands. It was called Our Lady of the Isles. The statue was in response to a Ministry of Defence proposal to construct a missile test range and military town. Although the island welcomed the idea of more jobs, the scale of this project was of concern to many, as they feared it would destroy their way of life and culture. Therefore, a resistance was brought on, led by Karen John Morrison, the local parish priest, who introduced the statue and was paid for by the people of South Uist. It was intended to be an expression of devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, and a public warning to others that they were entering a different world. The Ministry of Defence did go on to build the missile test range, just down the road. However, they did not build the military town. The locals were happy with this and content with the fact that there was more jobs being created and they could continue to preserve their way of life and culture.
Having some lunch at this bus stop to just get covered from the wind. I'm having pasta and peri grains just out of the packet. There we go, there's the bike. Sometimes the weather is like this. Oh. So, off to Loch Maddie.
Hey, so I'm currently staying in a campsite today, just before Loch Maddie. So I was going to actually make it to Loch Maddie, but the weather took a turn for the worse. So luckily the people that run this campsite are a friend of the family, so we could stay here, which is no problem. Tomorrow I'm going to take a run at getting up to Bereny and then staying at a youth hostel there. So a night off from the tent hopefully, and then take the ferry from Bereny up to the Isle of Lewis and Harris, and hopefully on Friday I can make it to Tarbert and get the Tarbert ferry all the way to Skye. That's the plan. But tonight I've managed to get a shower, eat some good food, and yeah, hopefully it's a good night's sleep. Checking on you.
There's all these bikes lined up along the back.
Unfortunately, experiencing yesterday's torrential rainstorms and wind, I was forced to stop in my tracks just before reaching the port village of Lochmaddy and seek shelter. Here I was extremely grateful to Ian, a brother to a family friend, who allowed me to stay at his campsite, Moorcroft, in North Uist, free of charge. This kind act was much needed to allow me to dry out and recover from the weather, and their campsite cannot be recommended enough. It was very welcoming, had great facilities, and it made you feel like part of a community, having spent a whole evening to chatting to other guests on the road and hearing all their stories.
Brilliant.
I was nearing the end of my cycle on the Isle of North Uist, just before Berneray, when I came across an Iron Age broch in Loch Ann Sticker. The old fortress is called Dunnensticker, which translates to Fort Skulker. The fortress dates back between 2000 and 2500 years ago, serving as a well-defended family residence, most likely a local chieftain at the time. However, during the 9th and 13th centuries, the Outer Hebrides was under the overlordship of the Norsemen, and the fortress became redundant in favour of new centres of power. This was until the 16th century, when the island became once again inhabited by an important lordship, Hugh MacDonald of Sleat. However, in 1586, he planned to murder his cousin, Donald Gorm, 8th chief of the MacDonalds of Sleat. His plan was discovered, and he had to flee back to Dunnensticker. He was eventually captured, and is sent to starve to death in the dungeon of Duntelm Castle on Skye. Having picked up a bit of a cold, I decided to stay an extra day in North Uist and head to a place called Berneray, where I'd be staying in a youth hostel for the evening. Hey, how's it going? So instead of taking the ferry today over to the Isle of Harris, I've decided I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. Instead, I'm in a hostel, a youth hostel called on Berneray, which is really nice, like old crofts right on the beach. So that's nice. So tomorrow morning I'll get the ferry and then up to Tarbert for about 4, ferry from Tarbert over to Skye, and the trip continues. This is the room with a view. Yeah. And this is going to be tonight's accommodation. Basically, you just turn up, and it's an honesty system. You pay £20 to stay here, so that's quite nice. There's facilities, a shower, a kitchen, so I'll make good use of this tonight, and then just spend the rest of the afternoon just resting, because I've got a tough cycle tomorrow because I have to make the ferry at Tarbert. Anyway, I'll check in on you later.
Jag såg hur av stjärnor som landat i havet när vi tog första stegen ifrån oceanen. Det slog mig den gången när vi var där fram genom vattnet. Jag la mig på marken och tackade himlen att vi fick stiga på land, att vi fick känna på sanden. Nu kan vi säga att vi har varit på jorden. Ja, jag var där. Hur underbart var det? Hur underbart var inte det? Jag var nära, jag var nära, jag var nära, jag var där. En stund på jorden, en stund på jorden. Jag vann över bergen, jag delade på havet. Jag var den starkaste av oss, men svagaste ändå. Vi kollade i handen.
Hey, good evening. Just checking in on you. So, right now I'm just down the coast from the hostel on Berneray, sort of north point of North Uist. Currently I can see the Isle of Harris, and I can actually see the ferry that I'll be taking first thing tomorrow morning to get to Leverborough. And then from there I have I think it's a couple hours cycle, but for me probably 3 hours to Tarbert, and then across in the evening to Skye. That's tomorrow's plan. But I thought I'd just let you know how I'm feeling so far. I think on my first night when I was camping just off of Loch Boysdale on the coast, I said there's a lot of fear and anxiety that comes with doing this sort of stuff, solo backpacking, and it doesn't go away. Throughout this trip, which has only been a few days, I'm continuously thinking about different worries in terms of where am I going to be sleeping that night, where am I going to make the ferry crossings in the time that I have, will I manage, will my gear, my setup, will it stay intact, will my bike stay intact, because I have no skills in terms of fixing bikes, so if it goes, I don't know, get a bus somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, it's going really well, and I'm really, there's a lot of good points, and right now I'm having a beer and walked along the coast. I've met a lot of people in this trip so far, the campsites, the hostels, and that really makes it worth it. That really is the yin to the yang, which I can appreciate. So, because obviously, when rain's hitting you and you're getting drenched and all your stuff's getting wet, you're thinking, what the fuck am I doing here, really? But I love these things. I really, when you get home, you just reflect on this time, and it's special. I'm just so proud of myself, the fact that I've gotten through a lot of the challenges, because I'm not that good with things like setting up tents or bike, putting all the straps on and stuff. I'm really useless when it comes to anything like that. I could rely on a lot of people for those things, but this time I've had to really do it myself, and it's worked out so far. I've still got a last push tomorrow, but this has been a wonderful time just to really see what I'm capable of. And there was a point where I thought, I was getting cold, drenched yesterday, rain was hitting against my face, and I thought, you know what, there's a ferry port just back at Loch Maddie, which is only 40-minute cycle that way, and I thought, I'll just get a ferry to Skye, cut off a couple of days, or even a day, sorry. But no, I'm going over that what's this called, the Isle of Harris. I'm going there tomorrow. I've decided to push on, get to Tarbert, which is my original plan, and then get on to Skye from there. So that's tomorrow. So glad I never gave up, because it was tempting. But yeah, I'll check in on you tomorrow. Jag var nära, en stund på jorden.
coming up next on the Cyclone in the Hebrides to lands beyond. I cross to the Isle of Harris, leaving North Uist behind. This time though, I'm against the clock as I head north over the steep hills to reach my ferry to Skye. I experience breathtaking landscapes, but I also feel the strain of the journey. I then reach the end of my time at Niger Hebrides and continue my journey into Skye.